I'm Elizabeth Bernhard with Youth Solutions and the Jobs for Michigan's Graduates program. Before we dive into the heart of today's program, I want to go over a few housekeeping items. The first is that today's event is being recorded, and specialists and teachers are broadcasting today's event to their classrooms, both virtual and in person. Throughout the event, if you have any questions, please populate the chat box so that we can answer the questions as we go along. In addition, I wanted to let you know that at the end, we'll be giving away two $25 Amazon gift cards. So if you are a young person or you are a specialist with youth who wish to be entered into this contest, please put your name or their names into the chat box. And at the end, we will randomly draw two winners. With that, I'm very happy to introduce Katie Yorchak, Director of Admissions, Operations, and Financial Aid Liaison. Katie is herself an alumna of Alma College. She has traveled to 2 countries and 20 states. And one of the things that she loves about Alma College is that it is a campus that genuinely cares about their students. Katie?
Thank you, Elizabeth. That's quite the introduction. I'm so happy to be with you all this afternoon. Like Elizabeth said, I'm an Alma graduate, and so being back is always so fun for me to tell my Alma story and just get to know students who might want to have their own Alma story, and how we can help them along the way is so important to us. When I do tell my Alma story, one of the things that always shines through is I was a first generation college student, and so, attending college was a big deal for me. And when I came to Alma, I definitely knew that when I was here, I had to have that constant support. And so I had multiple staff members take me under their wing and really make me feel like I was their own. And when it would have been easy to quit, they said, no, you keep going, and we're constantly there for me. So again, it's really rewarding to be back and to keep telling the good word about Alma. I am joined today by my colleague, Gabe, and we have some current Alma students with us as well that will help during the presentation. I'm going to have Gabe introduce himself, and then I will have our 3 students that are with us let you know who they are and what they do here at Alma College, and then we'll let Gabe take it away and share some good information about who we are. So Gabe?
Thank you, Katie. My name is Gabriel Escobedo. Everyone just calls me Gabe or Gabriel, whatever you prefer. Pronouns L, him, his, her, him. I'm originally from Texas, so I am Latino and I have a Texas accent. So sometimes if it sounds a little different, just let me know. I'm originally from the Dallas area. Like Katie, I'm a first generation college student. My family was very low income, Mexican-American family in the Dallas area. Growing up, it was hard, difficult for me. I wasn't supposed to graduate high school, but yet here I am about to finish my PhD. I just have to write the book, which is the hardest part for me. And the reason why I moved me, my wife, and my daughter from Texas to Alma is because I really believe in the Alma mission. I worked in higher education, college readiness on and off for about 10 years. And I can say, completely honestly and, bearing my chest and soul to everybody that Alma College is an amazing, incredible place that really cares about students and everything that goes into getting a college education, not just getting a piece of paper, but getting a career, getting the ability to do more than what is even possible. So I look forward to talk to you more about my presentation, but now let's introduce our students.
Yeah, Nora, if you wouldn't mind going first.
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Nor, and I am a junior here at Alma. I'm a psychology major, and then some kind of extracurricular things that I'm involved in on campus are Greek life and choir. And last year, I was involved in an a cappella group. And I was also in education club last year. So if any of you guys have interest in education, I can talk a lot about that. I was an education major for a little over a year before I changed my mind. Like everyone before has said, Alma is a really great place. And I also feel like all of my professors and everyone, all the staff, they really care about us. And I think that that's really special.
Nora is a great example of you don't have to know right away what you want to do, and you'll still be on track for a 4-year graduation.
Or you can think you know what you want to do and then realize that you were very wrong, and it's okay.
All right, Abby.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abby. I am also a junior here on campus. I'm a biology major and a psych minor. I'm involved in quite a few things on campus. I do my own independent research. I'm the president of iGEM, which is a genetic engineering association that we have on campus. I have 4 jobs on campus, and I'm also in a sorority, and me and Nora are actually in the same sorority. So that's a few things about me.
Thank you. And Danny?
Hey everyone, I'm Danny. I'm also a junior and I'm a theater major. I'm very involved in campus. I work for admissions as a tour guide. So if anyone wants to come up, we're all tour guides actually. So if you want to see a tour of campus. And then I'm also in Greek life and I'm also in choir and the men's a cappella group, Scots on the Rocks. And I'm the vice president of Alpha Psi Omega, which is the National Theater Honorary. So.
Awesome. And as we go along, we'll be able to hear a little bit more in depth about things that they're involved with on campus and how we support our students with their passions and desires and really meet them right where they're at. So Gabe, if you want, you can start this presentation. We'll get underway here and I'll be watching the chat function or the chats as well. So happy to help out where I can. And he is going to start.
Yeah, all right, so let's begin. So if you all have any questions in the middle of the presentation, just please put in the chat. And thank you, Katie, for being willing to answer those questions. After the presentations, we'll open up for more questions. So you can ask not just me and Katie, but our amazing students here as well. So let's begin. Welcome to Alma College, home of the Scots, located in Scotland, USA. We're located in mid-Michigan right here. This is so handy, pun. I can't do this with Texas, so I'm really glad that we can do this. So we're located right here. We have about 1,450 students on campus. We're undergrad students. Our average class size is about 18 with a 12-to-1 student faculty ratio with 27 D3 athletic teams, including esports. We'll talk about that later. With over 100 different clubs or organizations. Some of our students just mentioned a few that are here on campus. And our academic calendar is a little bit different from other schools because it's 4-4-1. What that means is we have 4 months in the fall, 4 months in the winter, January to April, and then we have something called a spring term, which is in the month of May. Students are required to take 2 spring terms out of their 4 years, but most students often take more just because it's a really fun opportunity. So let's talk about the Alma Commitment. This is a guarantee to students and families. The first part is our on-time graduation guarantee. Most students are graduating college around 5.5 years. That's the national average right now. What we have is we're going to make sure that students graduate on time, depending on your major. So most of them are about 4 years. And if you don't graduate on time, and it's no fault of your own, we are going to pay for an extra semester. What that means is a lot of students, kind of like Nora said, really thought they were interested in something, but then they realized maybe I want to shift to somewhere else. Within the first 2 years, you have a lot of flexibility to figure out what you want. And we're still going to make sure that you graduate on time. That no fault of your own, it could be maybe there isn't a class available this semester or something else happened. And we're going to make sure that, again, you're supported throughout the whole thing. And if there is a chance where you do need an extra semester, we will pay for it. The second is intentional academic career planning. So a lot of schools, every college has an advisor, someone helps picks your classes for you. Well, here at Alma College, those people are your professors. So not only are you going to see them once a semester, but you're probably going to see them every week. But not only are they going to help you pick your classes, they're going to help you find all the amazing opportunities in your field. So they can help you find networking opportunities, internships, externships, different things like that. And if you do find one of those really cool opportunities, especially off campus, we're going to give you $2,500 called our venture grant. So you can use to go on this off-campus experience and really get a feel for your major. And sometimes it doesn't have to be academic or major specific, but if you really find a really cool opportunity you want to pursue, you can use this grant. So let's talk a little bit about our academics. So we have over 50 programs to study. And if we don't have something that is directly on our list, but it's something similar, we have something called a program of emphasis. A really good example is a lot of students are really interested in sports and marketing management. So what we did is we actually combined it and we had a sports management major for students. Well, that became so popular that now we're actually going to have that as a real major here on campus. We also have specialized programs like the Posey Global, which is a service-based program, which I know some of our students are either going to talk about this at the end of the presentation, so I'll save it for then. We have a Model UN, which is internationally known. We're also a Jeopardy question. We have more awards than any other university in the country, which is super great to hear. And we just won more awards like last month. I know Abby's like, yeah, let's talk about that. We have Acorn, which is STEM experience, so you can get hands-on experience in the STEM field even before coming to college. iGEM competitions, which again, Abby was mentioning earlier, and then our presidential honors programs. So let's talk a little bit about campus life. We do require students to live all 4 years on campus. So first years have the option of choosing two different dorms, Gale or Brusky. We have on-campus dining. It's called a Hamilton Commons. We also call it Saga. It's just a tradition thing. Joe's Grill, the Dow Dining Cart located in our Dow Science Center. And then we have off-campus dining. So how it works is we have 2 meal plans and we have something called Munch Money. So Munch Money can be used for off-campus dining experience like Starbucks, some of our local restaurants listed here. And we have a lot of different things for students to do on campus. Even in the pandemic, we have so many things that the students are getting involved in safely, social distance, of course. And I want to, if possible, some of the students can talk about the fair that we just had a few weeks ago. Now let's talk about financial aid. 100% of our students receive some form of financial aid. Most of it comes from our merit-based scholarships. So in our application, we are not looking at test scores, so we're completely test optional. And scholarships range from $21,000 to $25,000 a year, every year for 4 years, depending on your GPA. We have additional scholarships as well. Some of these can include alumni referral. So if a counselor recommends a student to look into Alma, students can put that counselor's name on their application and it counts as a referral scholarship. Or if you know somebody who came to Alma and just shares the Alma story. We also have our Scholar Summit. So those with higher merit-based scholarships have the addition to win an additional $1,000 to $4,000. It's an interview process called our Scholar Summit. It's an amazing time for students to just get to know Alma and for us to get to know you. We have the Opportunity Scholarship that's given to our students of minority background. It can also be members of our LGBTQ community, also people of different faiths that include Buddhist, Hindu, Jewish, and Islamic faith. We also have Performing Art and Art and Design scholarships that range from $1,500 to $15,000. We also have religious scholarships. Though we are not a private Christian university, we do have religious scholarships available for students. We also have STEM scholarships. The STEM scholarships, the deadline for this year just passed, but we highly encourage students who are pursuing STEM to apply for them. It is need-based, so I just want to let everyone know. And then we have our esports. It is the only sport on campus that we can give a scholarship for. It's an amazing opportunity for students who really want to pursue that field and get really cool experience, not just playing video games, but understand how the esports world works, all the ins and outs. And here are some regional scholarships. So we have our Highland Award for students out of the state of Michigan. We have our Detroit and Kalamazoo Promise, and we also have Detroit Futures, which we can talk about later. And then our ACE Scholarship, so Alma College Community Engagement, especially for the students who are more local. So the admissions process, we're rolling admissions. That means you can apply anytime from its open to its closed. So it opens up in August, ends around July. Our application is 100% free. We're located on our own application website as well as the Common App. And all we need is your high school transcripts. So like I said, we are test optional right now, and we hope to get rid of test scores completely. But that's something that I want to let students know that even next year, we are not going to be looking at test scores. And the minimum GPA to get accepted to Alma College is 2.75. So here's some outcomes. I know a lot of people ask, well, how great is, you talk about Alma College a lot and they have so many great resources, but what happens when they graduate? Well, 95% of our students are in grad school or in the profession that they want to pursue with a degree within 6 months of graduating. That is 100% job placement rate for all business related majors. We also have graduates. So here's some of the students that went to graduate school this last year. They went to Duke, Cambridge, MSU, U of M, Yale, and you can see the rest right here. And here's some employers that have accepted recent Alma graduates. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CNN, Make-A-Wish Foundation, United States Department of Education, and there's many, many more because we have amazing, wonderful students with their own stories. And now this is time to open up for questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, if there aren't any questions right away while you're thinking of them, Abby, I know you're always really eager to give some insight about iGEM. And I think what's really cool about iGEM is that it is so interconnected with different disciplines across campus. And when we think about Alma College and we think about, like we said earlier, you may not know right away, or if you think you know and then you change your mind, there's reasons that that happens at Alma. And I think iGEM is a really great example of that. So Abby, if you wouldn't mind, Danny, I see your hand up. But
I saw a question in the chat. I don't know if you wanted to answer
here comes
that
one.
or let her
Yeah.
talk first. I don't.
What is the best way to spend time outside of class in Alma?
I'd be willing to talk.
Sure.
All right. So basically, we have a bowling alley not too far away, roller skating not too far away, a movie theater in town, tons of restaurants options like in like old downtown Alma. But then if you take like a left or right at the Starbucks, depending where you're coming from, there's all like the fast food restaurants that you're used to, and then like shopping areas. Also, like there's a group on campus called ACUB. And their job as students is to set up like really fun events for the other students. So whether it's like a cornhole tournament or a movie on the chapel lawn or a concert on the chapel lawn or like a karaoke night, or like when we can travel, they've done like trips to the Red Wings game or trip to Cedar Point. So like there's always stuff going on campus. Also, like the three of us we're all involved in Greek life too, so that's a lot of fun. Even if you don't join Greek life, you might have friends that are in Greek life, and you can always go hang out at their events and their houses and stuff too. So there's always stuff to do and stuff going on.
Abby can go. I know Nor also it looks like you're ready. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I can answer that question about iGEM. And it is something, like I said, I'm the president of it. I've kind of helped this organization get off the ground, so I could talk about it for a while. But really, the main overview is it is a student-run research program, which is really unique. We are one of the only iGEM teams in Michigan. So the other iGEM teams are U of M and at MSU. We do go to synthetic biology competitions every year and present our research at these events. And we have won silver at our first one that we've ever gone to. So 2 years ago, we competed for the first time. We beat teams like U of M and MSU, Ohio State, Purdue, and even Stanford. So we are a very successful team. This past year, we won a gold medal as well. Again, like I said, this is all student-run research, but we do a lot more than just research. So right now we're in the process of hiring a graphic designer. Actually, we'll probably need 2 or 3. We started our own podcast this past year. So we are running our own podcast. We're available on so many different platforms. So we're really excited about that. And not only that, we also are looking for people to help us with promotional videos and different things like that. So we've been working with a couple different people on campus, but we're looking to actually hire somebody onto our team for specifically that. So yes, we need our STEM people to be in the lab and doing that research, but we also need the people who are going to help us with promoting us on social media and being that liaison between, admissions and our group, and as well as like talking with our community. So iGEM is a phenomenal group on campus and makes Alma very unique for really any student who's looking into different colleges.
Else? Nor, do you want to kind of talk through that pathway of how you've, what support was provided from different faculty across campus as you're trying to navigate that best major for you?
Yeah, sure. So I thought that I wanted to be a teacher for a really, 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 really long time, like a decade. And I got to Alma and I was an education major and I was super excited. And I took a bunch of education classes the first semester and I loved it. And just real quick, I'll add something kind of special about Alma's education program is you get in the classroom the first semester. And it's not for a long time, but it is for some time. And a lot of other schools, you don't get that kind of experience until much later, or even until you're getting close to student teaching, which at that point, if you get into the classroom and you're kind of like, oh, I don't know about this anymore, you're basically done. And so then you kind of have to start over. And so I got into the classroom for a little bit of time. I was not so sure that that was what I wanted to do. I stuck with it for another semester, took my second semester of education classes, and also like kind of tried to branch out a little bit and took a psychology class and a communications class. And at the end of the second semester, I kind of decided that that wasn't for me. I love kids, I love learning. I think education is super important, but I don't want to be in the classroom for forever, basically. And so I talked to my advisor. I talked to a bunch of professors that I had had. My advisor was a professor in the education department who had me in class twice, I believe. And so she knew me really well. And I talked to her a lot about just like this decision. And I was nervous. I was like, oh no, like she's gonna be disappointed. She's gonna be upset that I don't want to be an education major anymore, that I don't want to be a teacher. And she wasn't. And I don't think anyone at Alma would be. But she helped me a lot, just kind of taking some different classes, doing some research. I also had a communications professor that I got pretty close with, and she helped me a lot. And she retired, but we still talk regularly. And that's just like to say something about the kind of support and the relationships that you build at Alma. Like, I don't know if I'd call her my friend, but she's like a mentor now. And we talk all the time, and I love that. And she's super helpful. And so basically through just taking a bunch of different classes and talking to different professors and doing research into just different careers and looking at grad schools and graduate programs, I kind of decided that I wanted to go into something like speech and language pathology or psycholinguistics or something like that. And so then I was like, okay, this isn't a major, but that's okay. I'm going to do a POE, which is what Gabe talked about. And I kind of started working on that with my advisor, and I can just talk a little bit about that. So just in a little more detail for any of you guys who are interested in something that's a little bit more unique and might not be a major at Alma. And basically with a program of emphasis, you kind of like build your own curriculum. You look at if you're interested in a grad program, you would look at like the graduate schools that you're interested in, look at if they have any requirements to apply to those programs. And then you would look at the classes that Alma offers and work those classes from different departments into basically your own curriculum. Some students have taken some classes at Central Michigan University, which is just about 25 minutes away. If Alma doesn't have a class that they need, or if they're interested in a grad program at Central. And so that's really convenient and really useful for those students. So I started doing that. And then I was like, I don't know if I want to build an entire curriculum. Like, this is kind of hard and I'm kind of wimpy. And so I talked to my advisor again. Now I'm a psychology major, still kind of thinking the speech and language pathology route, but I'm not entirely sure. And I'm a junior, and it's okay. And everyone is just like, it's okay. You know, you'll figure it out. I have a ton of support from all of my professors, from my advisor, from my old advisor, and now my new advisor, because I changed my major. So I got a new advisor in the department that I'm majoring in, but I still talk to my old advisor. She is super helpful. My new advisor is awesome. And I'm just taking my classes, having fun, figuring it out, and it's great.
Thanks, Nor.
Yeah, sorry that was so long.
No, that's all right. Other things that people want to know or that would find helpful. If there are, I've heard, Elizabeth, I heard you say specialists, or if there are, if there's anyone here that has specific questions about application process or requirements for Alma, scholarships for Alma, Gabe and I are happy to tackle those as well. If it's less about, okay, student experience, right, but more about those mechanics behind it, we're accessible.
I have a question for you as students. So when you think back to when you were looking at colleges and universities, Why did you choose Alma? What stood out about Alma that had you say, yes, this is the place for me?
Yeah, so I went to a very small high school. I had 80 people in my graduating class. Katie Yorchak was actually my admissions rep. I've known her since I was a junior in high school, so kind of funny how it works out. But I was like dead set on going to like U of M, and I was really excited to get out and like go somewhere big and just like do something new. And I walked on campus and I was like, there's no way I can do that. Everyone here is so friendly, from your admissions representatives. You could have Gabe and you get to talk with him. And then you come on tour with like me or Danny or Nor, and we all just care so much about you and your success at Alma. And that's something that I didn't experience when I went to those bigger schools like U of M or MSU or something like that. I didn't get that personal experience. Since being at Alma, I always answer this because it's a new perspective, right? Like coming in as a freshman, you see, oh, the class sizes, I get to know my professors well. And yes, that's amazing. But since being here, if a student is going STEM, look at Alma and talk to the prospect, talk to students who go here and talk to professors. The amount of research opportunities that we have on campus is absolutely phenomenal. iGEM really does set us apart, and that's one reason. One of my friends applied to med school, got into MSU's med school, which is extremely competitive, has a very low acceptance rate, and got in because of his experience with iGEM. The research experience here is absolutely phenomenal. Professors want to take you under their wing, and it is definitely going to set you apart when you're applying to those graduate schools if you want to go, pre-med or pre-physical therapy or pre-occupational therapy. So definitely something that's kept me at Alma is those opportunities that are available.
So kind of like Abby, I thought that I wanted to go to a big school. I went to a pretty big high school, and I live close to MSU, and I thought that I was going to go to MSU because I wanted to be a teacher, and it just made sense. And then Alma was the first school that I visited in the spring of my junior year of high school, and I really loved it. And then I proceeded to visit approximately 7 more times because I have a really hard time making decisions and I wanted to be sure. And I know I stressed my admissions rep out like to no end because I finally committed like the day before the deadline. And anyway, but it was really kind of like what Abby was saying about the people. Everyone is super nice. Everybody really truly cares about you. When I went on my tour, I was with a student who had the job that I have now. And like they knew everybody that we walked past. They knew all of the professors, they knew all of the students, like everybody was saying hi. And like what Abby was saying, you just don't get that at someplace bigger. And at the bigger schools that I toured, like nobody knew anyone. And that's fine, but that's not what I wanted. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess my biggest advice is just go to where it feels like home. And when I stepped foot on Alma's campus, it just felt right. The first time I came up there was actually with my theater director my senior year, and he used to work at Alma, so he kind of led me there. And I met the theater director right away and the performing arts recruiter, and it just felt so genuine. Um, and I just fell in love with the small class idea, because I was like, I'm a very social person and outgoing person, but in the classroom, I feel awkward about like being in. If I was in a class with like 500 students, I don't think I would ask a question ever. I also feel that I would possibly get into the habit of not even showing up to class because they wouldn't know, which is dangerous because then you're going to struggle in your classes. You're not going to learn anything either. So, but yeah, I mean, and then being in an environment where like you do get to know everyone and develop these relationships with your professors and joke around with them and then it's just different and it felt right. And I felt very wanted because I feel like Alma goes above and beyond compared to the other schools that I visited. Like all the events that they throw, I mean, obviously stuff like this, but like when we could do stuff in person, like one of the coolest experiences I ever did was we were on the rooftop of the Detroit Athletic Club watching a Tigers game. And they had faculty there and they had alumni and obviously the admissions reps and stuff. And it was awesome. And that was just one of the events I went to. how the other schools I visited, all I did was like a tour and that was it. So I felt wanted and it felt right. So that was my experience.
I just wanted to add something going off of what Danny said about like professors not noticing if you miss class. At Alma, if you miss a class, they will notice and they will email you, or they will send somebody to your dorm to make sure that you're okay. And I really appreciate that because kind of like what Danny was saying, you feel like you matter to them and you feel wanted and you feel like your education matters to people besides you. And like, I have a horrible immune system and I got really sick last year and I missed class, and usually I would email my professor, but I was asleep because I was very sick and I just didn't go to class and didn't communicate with anyone for like not even 2 days, not very long. And when I finally checked my email, I had an email from almost every single one of my professors. A couple of them sent me two because they knew that it wasn't like me to not show up to class without saying anything. They wanted to make sure that I was okay. And then they worked with me while I was recovering to get my homework and have somebody send me notes and gave me extra time to finish things if I needed it. And yeah, it was just, the support that I needed was there when I needed it. And, but at the same time, you have a lot of independence. It's not like everyone, if you need the support, it's there, but if you don't need it, you can totally be on your own, independent, and nobody will try and force you to accept their assistance or something. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think you guys get it.
Thank you for answering that, each of you. Other things, we don't have anything in the chat. Elizabeth, anything else that you're used to having people talk about that we have not covered?
Yeah, one of the things that people like to hear about is what was the most surprising thing about your transition to college? Something that you weren't expecting when you left home and moved to Alma.
I'm going to take an academic route. I don't know what my peers are going to say, but I'm going to go on kind of an academic route and say, again, I'm a STEM major. I also just love our STEM professors and our STEM curriculum and everything. So I'm like going to vouch for them any time that I can. The academic rigor, I don't think I expected it to be so intense. And when I say intense, I mean, I hear of that alumni email our professors after they get into graduate programs. I know people who have gone to med school and emailed our professors and went, thank God I took your genetics class because I learned everything already. Like I have already learned all this material. So when I got here, I didn't expect to also be taking these programs that really push you, and your professors work really hard to challenge you. And that's something that I wasn't really challenged in high school. Everything came to me pretty easy. And coming here, you're surrounded by students who want to be really good and have the best grades. And it's a really nice way to surround yourself with people who are just as motivated as you. And then also be prepared for your next step of life, whatever it may be outside of Alma, whether it's a career or if it is going to a graduate level program. But I think that was the most surprising thing for me was I feel very prepared and I feel extremely confident in my resume and in my abilities going forward after I graduate from Alma.
With Abby touching about like academics, I guess I want to touch on the schedule because the schedule like surprised me. College class schedule is so much better than high school. Like I have time for naps and like that's awesome. Like because you might just have a long night doing some homework, but you're like, okay, I just got to get through this one class and I got a little break in my day. Yep. I see the thumbs up. Yeah, get a nap in your day. Just that mental health time, go do something fun in between a class. But also how Gabe touched on the 441 academic calendar. I love our calendar. Like the fact that we're starting school like the same time like all the high schoolers are. And then like our Christmas break, we usually get out before like the high schoolers because usually they get out like the week of Christmas and we get out like the week right before. And then so we have this good Christmas break. And then obviously we have our spring break and everything, but then like we get done like mid of April. Like we're done so early. And yes, you have those spring terms, but there's only 2 of them. So 2 out of those 4 years, you're getting home before all the other college students, and you have those first opportunities for internships and jobs. And then even when you have those spring terms, you're still getting out before most of the high schoolers, and you still have a lot of fun because the spring terms are hands-on and they're awesome experiences. So yeah, the schedule really surprised me. I was like, well, I did not, it flies by, but you got to be careful of that too. Like live every day, do something fun, make memories, because I'm about to be a senior next year. Like I'm literally like a week away and I just don't understand what's happening. So live every moment.
Okay, so I'm going to take a different route and be completely candid and tell you that I did not expect to miss my mom and my cat. And I mean, my sister and my dad also, but like my mom and my cat as much as I did. And so for first year students, we had like a little orientation. And so we moved in like 4 or 5 days before everybody else did. And I think it was on a Wednesday. We moved in on a Wednesday, and I was there on Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday night. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I miss my mom. I need to go home. I can't stay here. And I went home after 3 days, which you're not supposed to do. If you're homesick, like, don't go home. You're not supposed to do that. And then I came back, obviously. And then I went home the next weekend, and the next weekend, and the next weekend, for a lot of weekends. And every time I came back to school, like that Sunday night, I was like, okay, this weekend, like this upcoming weekend, I'm going to stay. Like I can do it. It's going to be okay. Like I don't need my mom. I'm an adult. I was not an adult. I was 17. But and eventually, obviously I did it, but I was not anticipating that. I thought that I was super cool and super old and could take care of myself and didn't need my family. And that did not happen. And I was not expecting it. But I had a really great roommate, and I made some really awesome friends. And I had, as I've mentioned, and we've all said, really great professors, a really great advisor. My admissions representative, Katie, not this Katie, a different Katie. I talked to her. I went to the counseling center. And like everyone there wants to help you and wants you to be like as happy as you can be and do as well as you possibly can. But I wasn't expecting that, and I got through it, and I am so glad that I did, because now I love Alma and I can't wait to get back and hopefully never leave again. And by never, I mean for a year until I graduate. Hopefully I graduate, but yeah.
I wanted to touch on Nora, what she did. I get missing your mom, but a big piece of advice, at least wait a month, because those first few weekends is such a great time to like meet people, make friends, go to those events. We also have great weather, so you go to the outside events, and you got to get used to it. So maybe don't do it, nor did. But
it was a bad choice, and everyone told me not to, but I said that I didn't care what anybody else thought, and I was a strong, independent adult woman, and I could do what I wanted, and it was a mistake.
No, but
it all worked out.
I appreciate that reality, because this is what some people deal with when they go to college that they're not expecting. So that's a good thing for people to be looking out to and out for when they do transition. I know we're coming up to that close, but I want to give one of you students an opportunity to make one last plug for Alma College. Why should the youth here consider Alma College?
I'll go. I didn't expect to grow up as much as I did. Literally the first year I came home and my parents were like, you're a different person. Second year, even more of a different person. And it's just like, I feel like, yeah, I still have my senior year, but through my time in college, like the challenges that I faced, not even just academically, but like with family too. I had, some death in the family and sickness, and my professors were there for me and helped me get through, and I'm still on time to graduate, which I appreciate. But I feel like I'm ready to take that next step in the world. I feel like I could go live on my own now. Like coming here freshman year, I didn't know how to do anything. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm without my parents. Like what? I was an only child. So, but now I feel like I could go live on my own and pay those bills, and I feel like I could go get a job in my field. And like Abby touched on earlier, like I feel confident. I feel confident that I can do what I came here to do, and it's just the whole environment. We don't put on a show for when we're meeting with students and families, and then we're like fake after you guys like like we go back to our real selves. Like no, like we're always this genuine. Like I love working in the admissions office because every single person you meet, they're real, and I wouldn't change my decision for anything. And the friends that I've made here too, and all the clubs, they're so awesome. You can get involved in so many different things. Take advantage of those. Enjoy your time here, because it really does fly by. So.
Thank you, Danny. And thank you, Abby and Nora. We really appreciate your sharing yourselves and your stories with us. Gabe, I see you put something in the chat. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, just if you're interested in applying or you want to learn more information, you can always reach us at admissions@alma.edu. Our application is completely free. We do not need test scores. We're completely test optional for this year and for next year. So if you're a junior thinking about applying next year, and just send us your high school transcript. 2.75 automatic admission. If you have a little below that, just email us. We'll talk you through the process. We just need a little extra component, like an interview, letter recommendation, things like that. And don't forget, 100% of our students get a scholarship just for applying to Alma. And when I mean 100% of our students, I mean our domestic students, our international students. So if you're interested in Alma, please, please, please reach out to us. We want to get to know you, and we'll help you and support you no matter where you go. But we'd love for you to join us here at Alma College.
Thank you, Gabe. And Katie, we have 3 events coming up in partnership with Alma College. Can you talk about those, please?
Yep. So on Thursday, April 29th, we have Gabe again presenting specifically for the Detroit area. So that's Thursday, April 29th at 11 a.m. Gabe has been doing extensive work with our schools in the Detroit area, and he's only been with us for about a year, and he's really broken through and making really great strides. So we're grateful to have Gabe with us. Monday, May 10th, we have a presentation for Mid-Michigan and down through Lansing. I know we're including that area as well. And we will have another admissions rep join us for that presentation. Again, that's Monday, May 10th at 10. It's easy to say. And then our last one will be Northern Michigan. So Tuesday, May 18th, Shelly Bushley is our admissions representative that covers all of our Northern Michigan, Upper Peninsula area for Alma College. And so she'll be presenting at 10 o'clock on May 18th. We're very excited.
Great. Thank you, Katie. And the reason we've asked Alma to return to talk about programs in those 3 respective areas is because they have unique programs and scholarships for youth in those areas. So as specialists and teachers, we encourage you to come back if you are in one of those program areas, because your youth will learn more in-depth information that's unique to them in the areas that they live. So please keep those on your calendar. With that, Brian Mendez, I am pleased to share that you are our winner of the $25 Amazon gift card. So please forward me your mailing address. And with that, again, thank you, Katie, Gabe, Nor, Danny, and Abby. So good to have you here today. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.